Lecture 11. Scientific prose style and publicistic style. The scientific prose style is a functional style primarily used in academic and research writing. Its main goal is to present, analyze, and argue hypotheses, disclose universal or specific laws, and demonstrate facts and logical connections between them. The language of science thus prioritizes objectivity, accuracy, and clarity. This need for precision influences all levels of linguistic structure, from vocabulary and syntax to style and structure. One of the central features of the scientific style is logical coherence and sequential organization of thought. Scientific prose is governed by a strict hierarchy of ideas. Claims must follow logically from hypotheses or previously established data, and transitions between ideas are made explicit with an extensive use of logical connectors. For example, phrases such as therefore, consequently, in contrast, on the other hand, and hence guide the reader through a progression of reasoning. A second significant feature is the use of terms. Scientific terminology is domain-specific and aims for unambiguous reference. As disciplines evolve, they develop neologisms to describe new phenomena. A term like quantum entanglement in physics or epigenetics in biology is used in a very specific way that may not translate easily into general speech. Some of these terms, over time, enter public usage and undergo what linguists call determinization, whereby they acquire new or diluted meanings outside. Scientific prose generally avoids emotive language or metaphorical expressions. Unlike the belles lettres style, which thrives on connotation and figurative devices, scientific writing values denotation and referential accuracy. Words are chosen based on their precision and unambiguous meaning. However, metaphors are occasionally used for pedagogical purposes, especially in popular science writing. For instance, DNA is sometimes described as a blueprint or instruction manual for the body, even though another feature is sentence structure. There are three dominant sentence patterns: postulatory, stating foundational assumptions; argumentative, presenting data or reasoning; and formulative, drawing conclusions. For example, a postulatory sentence might read, "All cells contain DNA." An argumentative sentence may follow, "Recent studies demonstrate that mitochondrial DNA mutates at a higher rate." Finally, a formulative sentence could be, "Therefore, mitochondrial DNA can be used to trace maternal lie." Scientific discourse also heavily relies on references and citations. These provide credibility and demonstrate a dialogue with existing research. Academic papers often follow strict citation formats such as APA, MLA, or Chicago. References may appear as in-text citations or in footnotes, which may contain either bibliographical data or elaborative content. These footnotes can serve not just for referencing, but also to present tangential discussions that would interrupt the flow of the main text. The impersonal tone of scientific prose is marked by the use of passive constructions, "it has been proven that," and depersonalized subject forms like "one can infer that," or the scientific we assume that the experiment, even when the work is done by a single author. The goal is to maintain neutrality and remove subjective bias from the exposition. In contrast, the publicistic style operates in a different domain of language. Its primary aim is not just to inform, but to influence public opinion and foster engagement. This style is prevalent in media, speeches, political discourse, essays, and commentary. The publicistic style comprises three major subtypes: the oratorical style, speeches; the essay style, philosophical, literary, political reflections; and journalistic articles, news reporting, opinion columns. With the advent of mass media, substyles like radio and TV commentary have also emerged, combining written and oral stylistic features. Where scientific prose avoids emotional coloration, the publicistic style embraces it. It often includes rhetorical questions, metaphors, parallel structures, direct address, e.g., ladies and gentlemen, and emotionally loaded vocabulary to appeal to readers or listeners. For example, a speech may begin with, "We gather here today not as strangers, but as citizens with a shared dream." This would be unthinkable in scientific prose, but is perfectly natural, even expected, in publicistic language. The oratorical substyle emphasizes persuasion through rhetorical devices. It draws on features from both written and spoken language. Careful structure and argumentation combined with speech features such as pauses, intonation, and gestures. Common features include repetition. We shall fight on the beaches. Contrast. Not because it is easy, but because it is hard. And collective address. My fellow citizens. The essay substyle allows for more personal expression. It typically uses the first-person singular, epigrams, and an exploratory tone. The author is often present in the text, reflecting on philosophical, social, or cultural issues in a manner that invites reader identification and reflection. For instance, George Orwell's Politics in the English Language is an example of an essay that mixes linguistic insight with socio-political critique. Journalistic articles vary widely in tone and form depending on their genre, from objective reportage to editorial commentary. A key feature is the ability to balance factual reporting with stylistic flourish. In some cases, literary techniques such as irony, metaphor, and antithesis are used to highlight contradictions or critique policies. Tabloid journalism, for instance, is more emotive and sensational, whereas investigative journalism might favor a drier, more factual tone with occasional sharp PHR. In both scientific and publicistic styles, functional appropriateness governs the choice of linguistic means. While science prioritizes precision and neutrality, publicistic discourse seeks to engage, influence, and often move its audience. Yet both are essential in shaping public knowledge, one through evidence and reason, the other through language and persuasion.